I'm so embarrassed. I had to go get the products. Hello. I'm up in here. I told you guys yesterday that I was going to try and detangle my hair live because I need to detangle it anyways. So I'm just doing my hair. Y'all let me know what y'all want to talk about. If I get quiet, that just means that I'm doing my hair. So I take like a week to actually get my hair to feel stretched enough to actually even want to start detangling. I'm going to do finger detangling. A few days ago, I did separate my hair, and you know, you just kind of take your hair, and I use my fingers a lot of times. And this will probably be day one, where I would stretch my hair. And as you can see here, it's coming out just to get the shedded hair out. I like to use, and I'm just jumping in, so you guys let me know if you have questions, if anybody's in here. My hair is not in the best of condition, but I'm trying to work it back up. So I would just add some grapeseed oil. I love Trader Joe's, and this is really oily, this bottle. I love Trader Joe's grapeseed oil. You can find grapeseed oil anywhere. It's very light, vegetable-based product. So my hair has already been semi-stretched because typically my roots would be really matted, but I had already had my hair sectioned, but I had to go somewhere. So I had to take the little knots, the little twist out, and I throw them in bantu knots so that it can stretch. But it's still not fully as stretched as I would like, but I'm just going to jump in and take a small section. I tend to use these type of clips, and I usually have my hair more organized than this, but I'm just jumping in, okay? This is real life. So this is a section. If I'm going to use a comb, I'm only going to pull in a comb because I have already finger detangled a couple of days ago. So I know most of the hair is shedded and my hair won't be as matted. So I'm just making a smaller section because, you know, the less resistance. Here's my bag of combs. I typically use mainly this comb for detangling because it's flexible. I like that it's movable, and it's not super, I don't know how you can see me. It's not super tight. Okay, so I know if I do this type of section, I'm going to start my my ends, and let's work myself way out. The grapeseed oil does most of the work for my type of hair. I'm not even sure what type of texture I have, but I know it can get really kinky at the roots, but it also can be very silky. See how I like the comb, because when the comb comes in, you really get to see how it's not fully detangled. Even if I was to use my hands, I could stretch it over and over again. I just feel like the comb really comes in and loosens up those curls. And I just take my time. In this video, I don't know how long it's going to be, but I just feel like I'm just, like I said yesterday, I'm coming on to do my hair. And if you guys want to watch or talk, feel free. But this is real life, me trying to get a better routine with my hair. And the more you take your time with your hair, the less you lose hair. You know, some people take these combs and they just force it through. That is horrible hair care, in my opinion. Now, some people have really strong hair strands. Not me. My hair strands are very fine. And they are silky. But see, I like to just run it through till I feel comfortable. And if you want, you can throw some more grapeseed on it. I don't have much grapeseed oil left. I mean, I love this product, but I would just kind of take it in small sections, because what I'm preparing for is wash day. The smaller you make the sections, the more your hair will not break off when you comb it. But as you can see, it's still shedding. And I am going to move as fast as I can because I don't want to make this video too long. This is me trying to do something that I've been saying I need to do for a while, which is detangle my hair and wash it. Because a lot of times I'll just get to the I'll just get to the stretching part where I go through my hair, stretch it, and get those loose shedded hairs. And then I just somehow keep my hair in bantu knot outs. And then I'll end up taking the knots out to style my hair and never get to washing it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this hair needs some water. See, getting more shedded hair out, but not forcing it. And my hair texture is going to be a little wacky because it's been regrowing from thinning. So I've been kind of just keeping it protected and letting it do what it do. And I trim it every once in a while, but I definitely need to trim the ends. So now that I have a big enough section, in my opinion, I'll go ahead. I add a little bit more grapeseed oil. And then I'll throw this in a twist because I'm going to wash my hair. Probably, if not today, tomorrow. But I just want it to be as stretched as possible because then it'll have a less chance of matting in the shower. And typically I would take some scissors and trim my ends a little bit because again, you don't want your hair to be having these raggedy ends. I don't even think I have the scissors in front of me, but I probably will eventually trim the ends a little bit because it's just pointless. Just cut that off. But until then, I'm just gonna do that. Now, I did bring castor oil with me because, like I was saying, my hair does suffer from thinning. So I do sometimes put this on my roots, especially if I don't know when I'm going to wash my hair. If I was going to wash it today, I probably wouldn't. But I think it's going to end up being tomorrow. So I'm just taking little sections, trying to get through this. Just taking that oil, trying to remove loose shedded hairs. My hair still shedding. Like I said, I sectioned it off and got a lot of the shedding out a few days ago, but still haven't gotten around to fully washing my hair. So I'm just taking another section here, getting it out the way. I love the grapeseed oil because I know my hair strands just loosen up from that light oil. And this is me touching my hair as much as possible before I add a comb to smooth it. I'm gonna go a little smaller. You can comb your hair how you want. I typically, like I said before, want to make the sections probably about a ½ inch in size to kind of control how much force I have to use on the comb. Most of you guys already know you should be starting from the bottom and up the ends and working your way up. Some people use conditioner on their hair or something to loosen their curls. I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm typically more of a oil person because my texture is so funny because the strands are so thin that sometimes adding moisture can cause them to get tight and shed. You know, I don't personally like working with hair that's wet. I rather deal with a cottony texture like this because I used to get all kind of mats when I would try to wet my hair. And it could have been because it wasn't properly detangled. Like if I was to add moisture after I comb it, it wouldn't be such a big deal. Let me see. Jeez. And the reason I'm able to easily pull it apart is because of the oil helping my hair strands uh, move away from each other a little bit, you know. It causes my hair to get kind of fluffy, and it's kind of awkward doing it on camera because that's the only thing I'm using. I don't have a mirror in front of me. So let's see. If you get to a bottom and it wants to fight you a little bit, it's probably just a little tangle from shedded hair. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm irritated. See the hair coming out. Nothing major. This is where I have to use my fingers sometimes if I'm running into like a knot. And you just, And I used to get nervous when hair would come out and stuff, but shedded hair is absolutely normal. You actually want to get it out of there because that's when the knots are able to come. Get all those knots and mats out. And you know, some people might go even smaller on the comb and all that. I don't. This is detangled enough for me to get in the shower, wash my hair, and know that it's getting clean, and I won't have to have a lot of shedded hair in the shower. Just gonna go ahead and put. Using my fingers to pull out any shedded hair that's easily removed. I ain't gonna lie, I sometimes start getting impatient because those roots are thick. Uh, Working from the bottom up. Of course, you get the most resistance at the root. And because my strands are so fine, they do break easily if they're not like either lubricated. Moisture is good on my hair too, but I just tend to go more for the dry detangling. I don't know why. I think I can just control these strands better because once they get wet, I don't always like the feeling of wet hair and doing all that. Not at this point. And I just noticed with oils, your hair is easier to stretch because it's not going to kink up. Whereas, you know, because my process is I'll start one day, finger detangle, section my hair, throw it in bantu knots. Then I'll try to do this step after it's stretched in bantu knots probably for a day with some oil on it. And then my hair it'll be easier to comb it. And as you can see, more shedded hair is coming to the bottom. The comb allows more strands to come out, you know, shedded hair to be removed before I wash this hair. Because it's at the length now where it'll mat up, and here's, you know, It's not a lot of hair coming out from the comb. And if you want, you can add more oil. I don't really need to because I added the oil a day before. It's already kind of, lubed up the strands pretty good. And I'm just throwing these in sections. You can make your sections as big as or small as you like. But when I make them a little smaller before I get in the shower to wash my hair, they don't unravel as easily. But really, you gotta do whatever works for you. Okay, now this section is a bit kinky at the roots, so I'm gonna add some more oil. One more shedded hair. Amazing how much our hair shed. I think they said our hair sheds, what is it, 100 hair strands a day? Something crazy. Working it from the root down. How many people feel like sometimes you just don't have time to do this stuff? I'm only trying to give it an hour, and it's like, that's why I'm trying to do these live videos, hoping that it'll encourage me to do these steps, because I always get stuck at the stretching part and I'll skip the washing, and my hair desperately will need moisture. One thing I love about grapeseed oil is when I do skip washes and I want to kind of make my hair look, then I'll add like my water from my water bottle, which I use the apple cider vinegar and water, and that'll keep my hair moisturized. But you really should be putting your hair under, washing for your scalp. But I will use stuff like grapeseed oil in my water bottle to fake it, and my hair will still have a decent look to it. But that's probably not the best way. And I'll get to a point where I might wash my hair once a month, even if that. Not a lot of hair. Trying to get, I don't know if I want to get to once a week, but I definitely want to get to at least washing my hair once every 2 weeks. Oh my goodness, like this. All that shedded hair, and as you can see, my ends need to be cut. And it's very easy when you're using a comb to want to rip through your hair because you want to hurry up. I do my best to try to stay patient. It's not always easy though. Seems like a never-ending job. Putting the oil on, work it through. Get those hair strands dancing. A little knot, a mat right here. When I have a mat, just let that oil sit in there and try to remove it hair strand by hair strand. And the more you put that oil on it, it's going to make the strands become, I think, softer so they can just move right. That mat is just basically dirt, and the oil helps it to loosen. At least grapeseed oil helps it to loosen up. You're going to probably end up with some broken hair though. Let me see. Whew. This is the thickest part of my hair. This side of my hair, the thickest and longest part for some reason. So once I get through this side, it's so funny because they tell you you're supposed to start from the ends and move up. I'm always starting with the ends, moving to the top, going to the middle, wherever I can get any type of movement. That's where I kind of work the comb and then go back down. I tend not to focus on one area. It's probably be easier just to focus on the bottom, but I tend to want to, I don't know if I'm trying to make it move faster. That's one of my habits, starting from the bottom, but also getting stuck in the middle of combing and then going back to the bottom and then doing it again. Goodness. Just like, why are the roots so thick? See, this is where you could add more oil, because I am not going to force a comb through it. It's just going to cause breakage. So you start moving them strands a little bit one by one. Can't believe I've been doing it for 20 minutes and I'm only this far. More hair coming out. Ooh. Those mats are moving on down. Moving on down. To be liberated. Slowly but surely it comes on down. What you see at the bottom is that shedded hair that was locking up the top of my hair, and it's meant to be removed. And I would not ever want to go in the shower or wash my hair. Still not a whole lot of hair, right? While I have my roots like that. Some people I've seen use conditioner and it works great on their hair and it just loosens up all those curls. Maybe one day I will try that, but I'd be scared if I put anything on my hair, it's going to just cause it to become a big mat. You never see those mats? They're like huge and wet and you just cannot get those strands out, and you get into a situation where you're trying to pull the strands out, which is what I do when I have a mat, and the hair is just breaking. I've had that happen, so I think it kind of traumatized me from wanting to use wet on my hair, especially as it gets longer. When it was shorter, my hair did not as much. You see, then I can use a bigger section. I can do a bigger section with the comb once I've done smaller sections. Feel free to share anything that you do with your hair when you're detangling, if you have natural hair. So now that I know it's lubricated, I got most of the shedded hair. I'm trying to pull. Of course, some of it still wants to lock. This hair needs to be trimmed. When you see the hair kind of sticking on the ends a lot, when it's trying to shed, the hair needs to be trimmed. Those dead ends don't help anything. I'm a big fan of trimming. I used to didn't. When I first went natural, I would just kind of, moisturize my ends and try to preserve them. But no, I like to comb it and I like to trim it, especially right on wash day. I don't wash my hair as much as I should, so I always need a trim by the time I get to my hair. Like right now, you see those ratty ends? I don't see a point of why I'm saving them. I don't have the scissors by me yet. But this is just me trying to work through my hair before I wash it. Now, until I get scissors, I just roll the ends up. And of course, the hair wants to unravel because it's not enough moisture. It's just stretched with oil. Now, the front of my hair is much longer than the back. And I'll be talking about that in more videos. But I've been kind of watching my hair to see how it recovers from thinning. And it's so funny how certain parts grow so much faster than other parts. But I think I know why. And I'll be sharing a lot of that with you in the future. It's hard to believe it's been like 25 minutes. You see how long this can take just to get through a little small section in here. And I have about a bunch more sections to go. Just touching this and getting the shedded hair out, softening the strands. Because there's no reason to rush to put a comb in it unless you want to have hair breakage. More hair breakage. Okay. Doing my best to finger detangle with the grapeseed oil. Try not to get it all over my desk. Okay. Natural hair takes so much patience. That's why it's so easy to neglect it. Okay, I'm just filling this mat, working it down. Now my section, it's got some oil worked in that will be working for me. Oh my goodness, like little mats all over here that wants to be shed. Okay, take my comb again. I'm trying to go for bigger sections because I'm trying to hurry up. Okay. One thing, you want to always make time for your hair. If you don't have time for it, you probably should just leave it alone or stretch it and come back to it the next day, or just do half of it and come back to it. Sometimes that's all the time you have is to do half, but it's better than nothing, because if you rush, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be pulling your hair out. You're not going to enjoy the process. I'm trying to get better with ways of how to enjoy this. I don't know if I need to light a candle, put some soft music on, I usually put a movie on. Like I would normally be watching a movie on my computer, but I don't know with YouTube if you can do that, you know, and have it playing in your video. So that's why I didn't, but I would normally be just focused on a movie, because you can kind of feel your hair. You don't have to always look at it. You can feel if it's matted or not, all that hair. This area seems to always have so much shedded hair around the crown. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because that's where most of the hairstyles land, but it seems like it always has shedded hair. Okay, let's get that shedded hair out. Moving it through the oil. It's helping my hair strands handle this comb. And I like to just get as much shedded hair as possible. And you can make sure when you smooth your hand, here you're using your fingers to kind of not pull the strands, but encourage anything that wants to be shedded. Okay, just gonna throw this in a quick twist. My hair is so weird. It's like this cottony type of, it's thick, don't get me wrong, but the strands are just so fine. So I end up with like this cotton type of hair. But when it's wet, it looks completely different. Like if I was to put a lot of product on it. But it's just so funny to me because it reminds me of like a cloud. Okay. I almost want to tie these up so they don't start unraveling, because there's nothing but oil on my hair and it's stretching it slowly but surely. If you look, remember I was telling you about the thinning, how I have it shorter. This area is growing back in. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, but I'm going to do the most hardest parts first. Okay, so now I'm going to get to this section. And this section I may put into two. Just this area of my hair, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's kinkier, this back part. Start from those ends. Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes you end up pulling it and pull out hair, a knot. Just never know. All knots gathering at the bottom. So that's when I use my fingers again, because the comb may pull out with my hair strands being so fine and silky. It probably end up pulling out the strands. So this is when I go back to my fingers and just kind of pull the hair strands away as much as possible. That's where the oil is helping those strands move away from each other, move away from the knot very easily. And this can be the part that's a pain. And every once in a while, you'll get strands that just don't want to separate, and then you would cut them. But these are kind of rolling right off, which is great. Okay. Some people are so much more organized when they do their hairs. I just sometimes like to grab this hair and work. I'm so organic with it in a way. Like, I don't always do all the perfect 4 sections. I just grab it and go. But it's better probably to do the sectioning a little neater, because this can drive you crazy sometimes. Yeah. Getting all that hair out of there that wants to go bye-bye. There's a difference too between shedding and hair that you're just breaking off. If it's just coming out naturally, you know you're being gentle with the comb, it's likely shed it here, and it's okay, because the hair wants to come out anyway. There's no point of thinking that your hair is not going to shed or come out. Now, combs, of course, will make you see more shedded hair than just finger detangling, but I feel like it's because it could be for 2 reasons. One, you could be breaking the hair if you're not careful with how you comb the hair. And combs are a little bit more abrasive than your fingers. So you might lose just a little bit more breakage. But ultimately, if you're gentle, that comb is, to me, getting more of the shedded hair, dead hair out. That likes to come out in the shower when you wash it. So I typically, once I wash my hair in the shower, I'm not going to see really any shedded hair. I'm going to see just a little tiny bit, which I like. Because I hate getting in the shower and you wash your hair and it's full of, you know, globs of hair everywhere. And every time you touch your hair, it's hair all over your hands. My hair doesn't do that, as long as I finger detangle and comb it. All right, so I'm moving to, I thought there was another part. This is the shorter part. See how shorter it is in this area? And then it's funny because then my back is long again. But I'm just kind of watching my hair to see how it grows back. But I don't want to do the back yet. I'm going to do the front, because I don't know how long this video will be. All right, so now we got this section. Now this section is growing in pretty decent as well, but I think it's shorter than the other section. So let's see. I'm going to start with my oils, because although my hair is quite lubricated, the oil is going to always help it. For me, the grapeseed oil always just gets the hair ready for the comb. And while I'm working on one section, I feel like it's not conditioning, because it's not conditioner, but you know how conditioner works? It goes through the hair strand. I feel like it's doing that while I'm working on a section, because grapeseed just makes my hair strands just separate from each other, which is perfect when you're trying to detangle. See how matted all this is? Although I did finger detangle a few days ago, maybe 2 days ago, the longer you wait to get to the hair, it's going to dry out because it's not moisture. But if you notice, you can see some of the sectioning and how it stretched the hair. So that's not hard to work through. Although it wants to become matted again, it's not hard to just pull that apart and get to it. But if you start from nothing, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you. So let me see. How do I want to do this? As I said, I'm kind of messy with how I section. I just grab parts. And let's just see. How do I want to do this? I don't know. I just want to get it combed. Let's just grab something like this. Just telling you now, me and parts, I'm not trying to make perfect parts, just trying to get it sectioned enough where I can get a system going where I can separate it. So I'm just going to put a little bit more oil again, because I want, while I'm not touching it, the oil to be working. And I'm just going to pull this out of my way. This is me real time, how I would be doing my hair. Nothing fancy for the camera, just literally just happy. I have a reason to get this done because I don't know if you guys are natural, but woo, the wash process should not be that challenging. It should just be, you know, like the commercials. Put your hair in the shower. But no, kinky hair is high maintenance. It's beautiful, but it's high maintenance. But it's worth it to me. Because even though I don't have the best hair care tips, I know the best hair care tips, but I don't always follow them. My hair is still thriving because I do minimum things. Like if I'm not ready to wash it, I don't mess with it. I just throw it in a protective style, and it still grows. Even though it's not in the best condition, it's still in a good condition to grow and thrive. Okay, it's just it might not wash my hair as much as I would like, but I still do wash it at some point and make sure I'm putting moisture on it because, you know, I tend to use water, like I said, and apple cider vinegar. So it's pH balance, acidic water. Those things can help you even if your hair is not in the best shape. Because Lord knows with life, just get that. See how I start from the bottom and then go up to the root? It's kind of funny. I just can't focus. I'm always like in two places. So you ideally want to just start from the bottom and work yourself up. That's how they say to do it. I don't know why it seems like the ends of my hair as well as the root tends to move better with the comb, but when I get to this middle section, that's where all the mats live. And you just take your time because this is when you allow shedded hair to get locked in. Now, ideally, when you run into this, I would grab some more oil. You can keep playing with it, but my hair strands are so fine. They don't have much give before they do break off. Let me see. This wants to go bye-bye. Let go of the strand. There we go. Probably got a little breakage from that. More shedded here. Just let it fall on my little paper towel. And then I'll go do it again with my fingers. Your fingers can feel knots very easily. It was a time when I only fingered detangle, but as my hair got longer, I was like, I need a comb. This hair texture is very interesting because it's super silky, the strands and fine, but the hair is kinky. Like it's kinky. So trying to have really fine hair strands with a very kinky texture is it can cause some real damage if you don't keep it moisturized a lot. And I struggle with I'm the type of hair texture that needs to have like a whole lot of moisture on it when you wash it, like putting so much moisture that it drenches it and then let it dry because my hair gets really dry. I don't even remember which way I was doing with this, but I'm gonna just figure it. Okay, I'm just trying to. This section is actually catching up with the other side. It used to be where this section would be significantly shorter than this side. This section used to always be like like an inch or two, maybe 2 inches shorter. So it's kind of nice to see it's catching up with the other side. And I literally just tuck my hair away because I tend to think I don't have time for it. So I'm happy it's been thriving. And I just take, you know, regarding like, this is hair vitamins and stuff. I haven't even been taking hair vitamins. I do take like a one a day every day, and I take something called, I've been taking something called Fernureek, and then I take it's something called Blackstrap molasses. And I can't even remember why I started taking these vitamins because you know how you go on YouTube and you research, somehow you stumble upon an ingredient that people are talking about, and I tend to go buy that vitamin. And I can't even remember what it was about these vitamins these herbs that made me buy them, the blackstrap molasses and the Fernureek. But then I went to research them a little bit the other day, and I think they both do have features that make hair grow because I do feel like my hair, but I don't know. I don't know if it's helping my hair, but I do feel like just recently it just seemed like it did grow more. But I noticed with natural hair, once your hair gets a certain length, like past shoulder length, it grows. To me, the growth looks longer anyway, because you know, if you add another 3 inches to 6 inches of hair, it's gonna look long, you know. So I don't know if it's those vitamins adding to the health of the hair or me just leaving it alone, even though I don't always wash it how I should. I'm a big fan and believer that protective styles are even probably more important than washing it because look at all this hair coming out, child. I don't know what's going on here. It's weird. Okay. I'm just like, whatever. I don't even freak out anymore about shedded hair because I know I can go days without doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'm like, it is what it is. And because I'm kind of on this journey where my hair did go through thinning, and I really probably most people would have just did a big chop. I kind of just took my time and let my hair grow back on its own. At one point, I did cut it short, and I'm going to show some videos of that. And then my hair started thinning again. So I realized it's something in my hormones or some type of deficiency or something that was causing it to, it would grow and when I cut it short, it looked all healthy. And I started noticing it as it grew back that the same area was starting to slow down in growth. And then it actually got where I could see the thin patches. It wasn't a bald spot that I noticed, but it was definitely at one point I noticed as the other hair was getting longer, the hair in the back crown area would stay shorter. And I'm like, what the hell? So I think it was kind of falling out and growing back. And I just don't know why it would always fall out in that same area. But I wanted to watch my other hair strands and see if they would recover or just really watch my hair and see what was happening with the growth. And the funny thing is, a lot of, this is when I make it a little smaller so I can isolate any matted hair instead of trying to push through it with the comb because it's very easy when I'm distracted to forget to go be gentle. But I started noticing like, wait a minute, even though certain parts of my hair is growing normally, that same area in the back crown is slowing down and it's looking like thinning. And I noticed it a couple times and I just kind of was like, what's the point of cutting my hair if it's going to continue to grow back like this? So I wouldn't cut it. I would just have this awkward length, which I still have right now. But it's funny because this is the longest I didn't go without cutting it. And it's funny how all the other strands are on track for the length they should be. But that back crown area is still way behind, but it is getting longer. So I have been treating it more with castor oil and but not as much as I should. But I do try to get to it probably once a week if that. And I just want to watch it because I do believe hair strands are on their own cycles and patterns at different parts of your hair. Like I really am convinced, and I'm researching this now, that my thinning is a form of male pattern balding. Like if you ever see in women where they have like, you have female pattern balding, which I believe is typically around the front, when the front of a woman's hair becomes really thin up in here. Male pattern balding is in the back crown area. And a lot of times women can experience that if they lack, most people say estrogen, but it's really I think progesterone, and which is the real female hormone supposedly. And that can cause you to have traits like a man. Like you can start developing like hair in weird places, or it's just a hormonal imbalance that can cause the hair because you have too much testosterone or something like that. I haven't fully researched it, but it was very interesting. I was like, that's exactly what I'm suffering from because my hair each time when it thins is only thinning in that area, that same area. But it has been getting much better with me just treating it and watching it and kind of just letting my hair do what it want to do instead of trying to hurry up and just cut it off all the time. Because I know most people would just do a big chop. And sometimes I wondered if that's something I wanted to do, just to kind of, let all the hair strands be on the same cycle, but I wanted to, before I do something like that, watch it because what my fear was, I'm putting more oil on it. And I'm just going to twist it. This side is still slightly shorter than the other side and it's less dense. But yeah, so it's just weird. It's like the sides of my hair, the back of my hair, the bottom back will grow normal. And then it's just that one area. And I'm going to try and show it to you if I don't run out of time. because I'm really just doing my hair as if I was doing it by myself. And as you can see, a lot of hair wants to come out and shed. I can tell by my ends it wants to come out. Let's get that hair out with our hands. It's amazing how much hair really do be shedding though. And I can tell that my hair, going back to the thinning, which has been years of me watching my hair, and I'm very patient because I was thinking about it when I watched some of my old videos, how long I've been dealing with this weird hair situation. And it's like amazing though what you learn by being patient from about your hair and start to see when it's doing good. But this is where it's gotten the longest with this situation. And I've noticed the hair strands that's in the front, that's not in that area, you know, like I said, where the male pattern, you ever see male baldness is always around that back crown area. Those hair strands are perfectly healthy because when my hair did start thinning before, it got so bad that it moved through all of my hair strands. So if I was to pull my hair like this, it would be like thick hair and then thin. The rest would just be thin. So you knew there was a lot of shedded, broken, you know, bald, you know, thinning hair because it wouldn't be like a smooth strand. It would be like thick at the roots and then all the other strands would be really thin. And they wouldn't have much density because a lot of it had fallen out for some reason. But now I know it was a hormonal imbalance, which is not surprising. You know, a lot of women sometimes can have too much testosterone and it can affect your hair. It has different kind of effects on you. But mine was my hair, and I started to get like a little belly, you know. That stuff can all come from like all kind of stuff. So it's a lot of stuff I have to share. But right now you're getting to see my hair in real time, what's been going to get an idea of where my hair is currently. But I am going to be taking you back with some other videos. But like I stated yesterday, I'm just doing my hair on YouTube because, again, this is one of my pet peeves is detangling. And when I'm home, it seems to be a million other things I can do other than this. So I just won't get to it. It'll be the last thing I get to. Okay. And as you can see, I'm just getting it done. I'm not trying to make it perfect. This is real time. I'm at home. I haven't even had my coffee or breakfast yet. But I don't want to start today because you know, my hair not in some type of set station or set state so that I can wash it either tonight or tomorrow. Because once I do this, I'll probably put my hair back in some bantu knots or pin it back and maybe put a hat on and let my hair just take in the oils, and then I'll wash it knowing that it's detangled. But I don't know about you, but I don't have the same patience to be like doing a detangling and washing all in one day. See that mat trying to take my hair out? That's when you slow down. You kind of make sure that oil's moving through. I can tell it is because it's very shiny. And you just kind of let the hair strands move out of it. You don't have to force it with a comb. I personally prefer to do the mats with my fingers. And you're going to get some hair strands, of course. And on it, I'm going to go back. But see, this is where I need to pin this back because I'm like, where's the section I detangle? Okay, so we're just working that out, getting those dead hairs out of here. Okay. Not so bad when the hair has had time to kind of relax, you know, and stop being so matted or tight together, and the strands are kind of moving away from each other from the oil. You see how easy the comb just moves through? The more you stroke the hair, the more it allows the product to move through it, and it smooths the strands. It's important to kind of move slow because you will pull your hair out unless you really have a good grip. But there's that more hair because that was a really matted section. The more matted it is, in my opinion, a lot of times it's just shedded hair high and at the top of it. Then once you get through that, I can go, you know, I know my hair is pretty well detangled because now I can take both sections together and then comb it. Now, some people could have probably combed that whole section by itself without separating them. I personally just rather make them smaller and err on the safer side because That's just where I feel comfortable, but you comb your hair and do it however you see fit. And some people may not make their parts this small when they're about to wash their hair. Like I said, I don't mind it because when I'm in that shower, likely these little part sections will stay in place. They'll loosen a little bit. But okay, so now you're going to see as I get to the back, my hair gets really weird because of that thinning. But let's just continue with the oil. I don't care how big the section is. I start with my oil just to make sure it's moving through. I don't know what that is on my hair. Some little mats that I'm just loosening up right quick. Because the great thing about this grapeseed oil is that when the mats are on here, if you got enough lubrication with the right oil, because all oils are not created equal, and I'm telling you that now, it'll just move off usually, you know. So I'll usually just add a little more oil. So there's no reason to try to force the comb through it. So I'm looking at this shedded hair in my pile, and it's almost amazing how much hair comes out. Especially when I just did this a few days ago, and I'm like, it was just a lot of hair then. Let's see. Yeah. I just pull each strand out little by little. If it runs into a jam, I switch to another hair strand. You have to have a lot of patience to do this. This is why a lot of people probably cut their hair or put weave in it, because sometimes you need a break from this. This will make you lose it. And look at it. It's already been 50 minutes. Isn't that crazy? But when I'm on YouTube, it don't feel so long. But if I was at home, well, if I was doing this just by myself, I would be like, you know what? I'm going to get back to this. Let me put a little bit more oil. Get those strands nice and silky, and it all depends on your texture. Every technique is not going to work. I like this because my strands are silky, so the oil makes it slippery really quickly. But sometimes the mat is just so strong that you still can't do anything about it, and you just have to cut it. See? And that's where having the right moisture on your hair can save your hair a lot of trouble. Let me see. That's pulling out those strands, and also pulling on the bottom, but not too tight, because you know the strands. You want the hair strands to be coming from the bottom, or else those are going to be broken. So I'm just loosening it up until I can isolate that knot on that streak, and then you pull it off, and then you just got that nice guy right there hanging out. I don't even know where I was at, Lordy. Okay, all right. I don't even know where I was at, child. That's one of the downsides of not being organized. You be like, what in the world? Where was I? See them roots? It's crazy. I know with the one product, like I was saying earlier, that I used, the Fernureek, they were saying it supposedly gets rid of gray hairs. I don't know how it gets rid of gray hairs. I have to really research them more, because I must have at one point last year was watching it and really found something impressive about the Fernureek that made me actually buy it. But I don't see as many gray hairs. I don't. I'm looking at my shedded hair and I see a couple in there. But before I had way more gray hairs around the edges of my hair. And in the middle, I would always find like long gray hairs right in the middle of my hair. And I don't see as many gray hairs. So I guess maybe the Fernureek does help with, eliminating gray hairs. They also did say it helps with hair growth. It does a lot of other benefits too, but I'm going to research it and share it with you. I can't tell you when, but I will, because I need to learn more for myself. I just take it every day. Take, like I said, the Fernureek, the Blackstrap molasses, and the Fernureek, the Blackstrap molasses, and a one a day. And I used to take black seed oil, but I ran out of the black seed oil, so I have to get on me some ordering. Don't you hate when you run out of your vitamins, because it's so easy to get off track? But sometimes you forget what the heck they do. You're like, what do this do? I know it's good, but I don't know what the heck it do. But I must say my hair has been recovering, I would say from 2000 and it started thinning probably in 2015 or 16. And my hair was much longer than even this when it happened. But this is one of the times I've been really watching it and seeing a huge recovery by just leaving the hair alone and putting that castor oil still on my hair, you know, not forgetting to still treat the hair because it's not fully recovered. But I do see the areas that are not affected by that, what I call mill pattern balding, have really healthy hair strength in terms of it's thick from the root to the end. Before it would have been, like I said, thick up to here, and then it would have got thin, you know, on the ends because of all the shedding and breakage. I wouldn't call it breakage, it was more like shedding. Um, uh, yeah, so as you can see, even with, and that's what I want to show people is, you know, your hair doesn't always have to be perfect for you to actually enjoy it. And I'm not going to say I enjoy this hair. I look at it more like it's my hair. I'm just letting it do what it do. I cut the ends. I wash it. I protect it every night. I do need to get better with washing it. But you can have pretty decent hair with very minimum hair techniques if you do basic stuff. Like even if you're busy, taking a minute to always have a water bottle somewhere that you can just, that is pH balanced, not just any water, that you can just spritz your hair, making sure you trim your ends. Like right now, I just want to take some scissors and cut it because it's not, those ends are not, I don't know if they're not healthy, but they don't do anything other than cause more knots and make your hair look bad. You know, one thing I'm into is planting, and one thing you do with plants is you prune them. And when you prune a plant, not that your hair is a plant, but it's kind of associated with that. When you prune your plant, it makes the plant happier, and the plant actually can produce more healthy foliage, you know. And I look at my hair like that. I used to try to hold on to every hair strand and didn't want to use a comb till I used to be really strict about everything. But now I'm just like, anybody got time for it'll grow back. Explain more where that came from, you know. So I believe you should be trimming your ends. I can't wait to show you how much hair it has come out from shedding. It's just funny because my hair do always look thicker than it really is. So it puffs up from the oil. So I know the shedded pile looks huge because my hair, like I said, it likes to shed up. It somehow just looks inflamed, or it gets puffy when it has like glycerin or any type of like grapeseed oil. All oils don't do this for my hair. I don't know what's in grapeseed oil that causes my hair to almost look moisturized opposed to lubricated. Because if I was to just use olive oil, it would not work the same way grapeseed oil does on my hair. Olive oil would do good, but it wouldn't really move those hair strands to separate and really look way more manageable. Because sometimes you can use oil and it just looks dry still, but stretched. Because they're not moisturizers, you know, they're just lubricants. But yeah, guys, this is what's going on. I'm almost getting there. You'll see when I get to the back, it'll get easier because it's not as much hair back there. It's really weird, but I'm kind of like, you know, as long as I can get a protective style, I don't really care how perfect it is, you know. At some point, I do want that area that I was telling you I suffered from thinning in the back to get long enough where I can get back to wearing like my hair out and twist outs. Sometimes I wonder if I keep the longer hair because it helps me to, you know, I like seeing my hair a little longer. I like to play with the texture, and I don't always want it to be short. I love my hair short as well because when I show you the footage of my hair shorter, I actually look really nice with shorter hair. It's just I kind of like playing with my natural hair when it's longer, and seeing the texture. But it's funny because I don't do anything to it but tuck it away, which has been benefiting it because that's what protective styling is. It's just leaving the hair alone. So lately with my life, I love protective styling. But you see this? Here we go again with this mat that was hiding. I just grab my oil so I can take whatever hair strand is left from this, because you're definitely going to have some breakage. All right, let's see how we can get this isolated. Let's see. Jeez. Oh, jeez. And this is where somehow the shredded hairs have gotten really. Hello, Nettie and Amanda. I see you guys. Just doing my hair. Trying to get some motivation to do these routines before I wash it. But this right here, trying to see how I can see. I think this, I can't really see because I'm using the camera as my mirror, but I think this is 2 strands. Yeah, you want to try to pull them, but see, slide it off and try to save as much of the hair strand as you can. Sometimes it's going to break, but yeah, that was fine. That's how oil comes in great. This section needs to be, and that's where deep dry detangling is great, because a lot of times if you look, I'm removing a lot of the shedded hair with my fingers, you know, and it's not, like I said, you're allowing the hair to smooth and get ready for that comb, because I personally don't think you should just be throwing a comb on your hair without your strands being ready for it, unless you want to experience a lot of jams and a lot of breakage. See, here's another matted. This area I think is more kinky once it starts getting up in here, so I tend to get more knots, but I'm okay with taking my time. And this is why I like to stretch my hair before I even add a comb the day before. There's another little knot, but I don't think I had that many knots. I mean, I had some, but for as much hair as I have, I don't think I've had that many. Okay, so let me use my fingers to slowly detangle, and it's still hair that wants to come out. I can't wait to show y'all how much shedded hair, because it just be looking crazy. Okay, now one thing, the comb will absolutely add more shedded hair to you. You know, you might have a little bit more than if you just finger detangle. But like I said before, I believe the comb makes tangling my hair more thoroughly detangle, because I used to finger detangle, and I would go get my butt in that shower, and my hair, it would mat up in those wet, tight knots, and I would just have to cut them off. There was no saving it because I had no patience. And I bet there are people who would know how to deal with those. Maybe you need to put more conditioner. I don't know, but I would be like, I'm cutting this thing. It was wet and had all that crap in it, like product and buildup or whatever it was, and my poor hair strands didn't stand a chance. See, this is what, more mats in this area than all of my hair. And I like to record during my hair, or at least pay attention. Those that came right off. So the oil is working. Because you will start to see where you get the most mats, and maybe knots, maybe you need to lubricate or put more moisture there, or you know, it makes you learn what you need to do with your hair. Because it took me, well, if I didn't do videos, it would be very easy to overlook certain things about my hair and what my hair likes, what it doesn't. Like, I know I've learned my hair loves grapeseed oil. Everybody else might like olive oil or coconut oil. My hair likes those items, but my hair reacts a different way with grapeseed. And I don't know if it's just something to do with that vegetable oil. My hair definitely likes vegetable oils better than nut oils, because I don't know why, but it just does. But see, this area has more knots and mats than I've had so far. I don't know why. It just does. Look at that. Yes, it is a lot of work being natural. It is. No matter which way you try to do it, it's a lot. And I've actually thought about putting my hair in braids, because I used to wear weave braids a lot when I was younger, when I was in college. Before I knew about my natural hair, I wore weave braids because they were so easy. And I thought about doing it. The only reason I didn't, even though I know my hair would grow really well with weave braids, if you just put them in and leave them alone, because my hair has grown really well with them. This is where I add a little bit more oil. This might be 1 strand though. Yeah, that's 1 strand, I think. See, I would probably cut this one, because I don't know what's going on here. Wait, that's 2. See, it's jammed though. So in this case, you can add more oil, or you can just trim it. I'm going to try adding more oil. And I probably lost it. No, I didn't. Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, and it is a lot of work. Now, you can have certain things you do so that your hair don't get like this. Like I said, taking time to stretch it. Like, even if you throw it back in a ponytail, you're stretching it. It's still going to be more stretched from that ponytail than if you didn't. And then you kind of just keep your hair stretched. But natural hair is no joke. And I still haven't mastered a routine of really taking care of it the way I know I should. But as I told you before, you can still get a decent amount of growth and hair care just from minimum things. Like even if your hair looks crazy, making sure you put some moisture on it. Water-based moisturizer, I would say, in a water bottle with some apple cider vinegar or aloe. I don't use aloe because it expires. That I use it, but I don't use it a lot. And I don't want to worry about if the bottle is expired, you know, with if it has expired aloe vera in it. So I use apple cider vinegar, and I just make sure I see it in a place that I will always remember to spritz my hair. Like at night, I might not do nothing else to my hair but add some water with aloe vera in it, you know, because I know water is, my hair needs that water. Oh my God, this shedding is crazy. So this is the front part, and it's so funny. You see how they unravel because that grapeseed is making my hair so fluffy. It almost reminds me of glycerin without all that sticky texture. But you know how glycerin is a humectant and it just makes your hair look like a cloud? That's how grapeseed does, but it's great when you're trying to detangle because you want your strands to separate and get away from each other so you can, you know, remove any mats and all that. But I'm not going to keep redoing these because this is going to take me longer. So I don't know what to do here. So what I do probably at this point is just get these out my way. I love bantu knots for everything. It's just a convenient way to get your hair out your way so you can, I'm going to look crazy, y'all, but y'all know how it is. Just so that you can move to the back. And I was hoping to only do this for an hour, but it's moving into a little over that. But I'm going to show y'all how the other part is short. You can kind of see it. This is the easy part, though, to comb. But you see how short that is? That's the part that likes to thin right up in here, almost like male pattern baldness. And then the back will stay normal length. Now, I cut my back a couple months ago because it was getting, you know, long like the front, but I wanted to kind of make it shorter so it could be kind of, you know, even, but it's grown. I cut it like up to here at one point. My back always grows pretty fast, just like the front, because I was wearing it like in a bob look or something. And it grew right back. So I have no problem growing the back of my hair. I think most people grow their hair pretty fast in the nape area. But I'm just letting my hair sit with this oil in it. And I wish I had it in me to wash it today. But if I wash it today, that means I got to moisturize it. I'm just going to do it tomorrow. And you really have to pace yourself with natural hair because if you try to do too much, it can be very discouraging when you spend 3 hours on your hair in one day. I don't have that kind of time in one day, you know. And I used to do it because I was on a, you know, healthy hair journey, and that's what everybody would tell you to do. But you really want to do what works for your lifestyle and personality, because if you get too overwhelmed, you're going to end up either not being natural anymore, you know, or just making it seem like it's impossible to keep up with it. Now, here's another knot in this area. Oh my goodness, that came right out. I'm amazed by how much hair is sitting on my desk right now. All right, so this same protocol is separating it. Back of my hair, for some reason, is not that hard. I don't know why. Maybe because I tend to pull it up like this. You know, when you have styles where your back is up, you're naturally stretching it. So I think that's why my back texture tends to be a little, I wouldn't say looser, but it might be a little looser. It just seems like the roots don't get as kinky as the middle here. And if you think about it, it makes sense because you're pulling up. I tend to wear my hair pulled up so the sides are nice and straight, but this area is where it gets neglected. So it's the most kinkiest, and usually you're going to find the most knots. So sometimes maybe I need to put that area in some type of twist. But I'm just lubricating this up, taking my time before I add a comb like I did the front, taking those fingers, you know, using my hand, get whatever I can out, any shedded hair or mats. All right. And this is when you start getting antsy, so you want to move fast. I know that about myself. That's why I do the back last, because usually the back is the easiest. I know after an hour I'm over it for real. Okay, because like I said, I haven't even had breakfast yet. I haven't even had coffee yet. The good thing is where I'm from, it's only about 9:30 in the morning, so I can still go get coffee and breakfast. This is where I take my hands again because it's matte and it's bringing all that shedded hair down. I don't want to force the comb through. But as I was stating in the beginning, for those, oh, I feel something going on here. And that's why I like the comb that I'm using, because it's very pliable. It moves. So if something's jamming, it won't force through it. It'll kind of bend and give me an opportunity to come in and say, okay, let me use my hand. Something's locked. Something is jammed, and it's usually just a little mat of a hair strand I'm trying to save. This is when you start feeling crazy, when you're natural, because you're sitting here trying to save one hair strand, and that's just some matted hair. Usually it's just dirt. Okay? Not letting you know you need to wash your hair, girl. Wash your hair. Please wash your hair. So then I keep going and let me get further and closer to the ends. And like most people say, you should probably start from the ends, but I could feel a mat right here again. And that's why I like combs, because sometimes finger detangling, oh, that was a knot, could actually miss some of these knots and stuff, and you be done got your butt in that shower. I'm just gonna twist this, and you have all kind of mats. I don't know. Y'all let me know how y'all's go. You know, like when you doing, do you do all this when you washing and detangling your hair? Do you have a quicker method? I mean, right now all I could do is, yeah, this is where I cut, so it's a little bit more even. But yeah, y'all let me know if y'all know a better way. My system is stretch it, oil it, then I wash it. And then once I wash it, it's easy, you know, because I didn't did the work in the beginning. But see, yeah. So if I wanted to go wash it now, it would really go quickly. I just don't want to, because I try to limit maybe an hour and a half. Because once it starts being 2 hours, more than 2 hours, I'm like, man, I ain't got time to spend that much on my hair. You know, how much time do y'all on average spend on y'all hair in a day? You have days that you know, that came from the back, that hair. Ah, to shut it here. Do you have days that you just say, I'm gonna do my natural hair? I kind of just do it, get it in where I can fit it in. I am gonna hopefully one day have those days, because I think psychologically it's like helps you realize that, you know, it's just one day a week. I try to do it what I can every day. Like I said, I'll try to moisturize it daily before I go to sleep. I always sleep with a bonnet on my head. Um, those little things help to keep the hair healthy, even though you're not doing everything right. If you do nothing else other than moisturize your hair daily and make sure at night you put a bonnet on, your hair will, and maybe wear some type of protective style, your hair will grow. You don't got to use the best products. You don't have to spend all that money on product. Your hair just needs moisture. And even if you can't moisturize it, just leave it alone. It'll slowly grow, because half of this breakage is coming from, I think, over manipulation. Like, for instance, if you look at me mess with my hair now, yeah, it's good to do this and wash it, but if I just left it alone, it would still grow and probably retain even, you know, moisture. I mean, retain length, because you're not using a comb, you're not doing anything to it. You're just letting the hair sit there and grow, thrive. You know, but there's definitely a happy balance between doing nothing and doing too much. Ooh, Jesus. You gotta, that when that comb be pulling on that hair, I don't think I'm tender-headed, but ooh. Oh yeah, you got crochet braids. I never knew how to do crochet braids, because I used to do my own braids, and that's why I was gonna do some videos on that. But I wore braids so long that I don't even want to do them. But I never knew how to do the crochet ones. I always thought the crochet braids was really cool, because I mean, even today, like these girls have like braids. I don't even know. Your crochet braids probably look completely different than what I grew up on. But these girls' crochet braids be looking like real single box braids. Like, that is so cool. I would love to learn how to do that. I think there's an element though that, oh my goodness, I feel myself pulling my hair because I'm talking. There's an element though where you have to do a French braid with crochet braids, I think, right? You do your own braids? Do you have to do French braids in order to crochet the hair in, right? You have like French braids or something. I mean, I think they're called French braids. I'm losing it. Yeah, you have to have like cornrows or something to actually crochet the hair. Because I swear, I think if I didn't have to do the French braids, I would have definitely did that style. Because I don't know how to French braid. Because it's so much easier than doing like a bunch of box braids. But that's what I would. Oh, you don't have to have the French braids or cornrows? So how do you get crochet it in? Oh, because I know I remember back in the day, people would put their hair like in a beehive or something. Or braid it back or something, and then they would take the braids and crochet them. But I don't know for sure because I never did them. See, my back is a whole different state than the front, but I'm gonna. Wish I could. I might have to turn around, but see, trying to isolate the shorter part, and I don't do that a lot. Oh, so funny when you're trying to let your hair grow from thinning, it'd be all awkward in the back. Some parts look normal, and then other parts are like short, so you might see a thicker part and then short at the ends. But I'm just letting it grow back, treating it with castor oil. I'm not really fussing about it because, like I said before, I tend to keep my hair protective style up in some type of pulled up hairstyle with a hair clip. But see, I'm starting to get antsy because I'm getting tired. She said I use cornrows. Okay, now cornrows is when you do French braids, right? I feel so old. Cornrows. Yeah, is those like French braids to the back? That's too funny. Oh, I feel a knot. It's hard for me to show y'all the back, but as you will notice, it's significantly shorter because this area is growing back from thinning. Treat it with castor oil. Okay, I don't know how to get to this, show you this part, but we'll just get through it. But yeah, I have definitely thought about braids, and there's so many cute styles now with braids. Like I love how the girls are putting like the little metal accessories on their braids. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do now with your hair and braids. I'm just scared that if I do braids, that I may, not to say give up on natural hair, but become even weaker with my regimen. Unless, because when I used to wear braids, I got a little knot. When I used to wear braids, I wore them for years, because like 2 years at a time, my hair would get really long because I didn't touch it. And I was just getting too comfortable with not touching it. So I was like, why I'm taking these braids off? I would get so comfortable not doing my hair that it didn't even seem like it fit into my life. See, this side is much shorter. This side is growing back from thinning, and it's a lot kinkier. Do you guys notice with your natural hair that the middle back crown is much kinkier than the rest of your hair for some reason? But the good news is it is growing, because last year this section was probably like this section that tends to like the thin, and I'm watching it because I'm trying to see if it'll thin this year. I don't think so though, because I feel like it's getting longer than it's ever did. Well, it's been since the last couple of years when it first initially started thinning. But I can tell because this section would normally probably be like that long. And now it's getting to the point, because I think I've been treating it with the castor oil, that it's starting to hold on and continue to grow. But one thing I learned about when your hair is prone to thinning, you just got to keep treating it. I use castor oil, which is this now brand. I know a lot of people use the Jamaican black castor oil, which I have used. I just tend to have that one because I can order it online. But I'm going to put it on there now, because my hope is to wash my hair tomorrow. But we all know, you never know. I'm hoping. You never know what tomorrow may bring, though. So I'm going to put the castor oil on it now. And I would probably put this in 2 twists just so they don't fall out. I'm still feeling a little knot, though. So time consuming. I mean, of course, if I wasn't probably recording, it would probably be done a little quicker. But it would take at least an hour just to detangle. That's not horrible. But when you're trying to do this at night, look at that, that knot. When you're trying to do this at night, nobody want to sit up at night for no hour. That feel like 2 hours at night. Okay, so let me just section this right here, and then I'm just going to put this in two twists, but you can get an idea of the difference in the length of the area that thinned out and is growing back, and the rest of my hair. And of course, it's uneven, so it has some longer and short. And that's why I've been tempted to just cut it all this length. But I'm like, nope, I'm waiting because I've seen my hair thin before again. So if I keep, it's gonna keep doing it. I think I would get more annoyed if I cut my hair and it did it, than if I didn't cut my hair and it did it. If you know what I mean. Oh boy. Give me a second. For some reason, this is getting nuts. That's how you know it's getting longer, because I'm starting to get nuts now. Don't know if you can see it, but this is where it gets the hardest in the back. Oh, I don't think I ever had a knot on the short part. So that definitely is a sign that it's getting longer. And I'm just pulling this thing out. Look at that. It's like a mat. That's definitely from dirt. Whew. Y'all, this is real up in here. Yep, there we go. It's definitely getting longer than it was before it then. Let's hope it continues to just grow. And I probably will eventually just trim it all the same length. But I want to see this section get like 6 or 7 inches, you know, before I really trust that it's recovered from that thinning. Because when my hair thins, I will like look at my videos and I'll see like almost like a thin balding. See, that's the short part. This part can get literally where it's to nothing, you know, and it'll have little short patches. And you're like, what the heck? And it'll come out of nowhere. So I just want to watch it before I do anything dramatic, like cut all my hair over this one little section, you know. But I'm watching the other sections growing fine. This section's a little thicker, but then you got this top part too. So it's like I said, male pattern baldness. But if you treat it, you can recover from it with thinning. You can't just leave your hair. You got to treat it continuously for those follicles to become. But it's so funny when you see how short it is. It was shorter than this at one point. Yeah. All right. And it's so funny because this section over here will be long. And it's just this part of my head wants to be short. It's very strange how hair follicles are. They have a mind of their own in different parts of your head. They're not always all in the same growth cycle. But see, it's about, I would say, what is that, an inch or two of growth? Because that would usually get really short. Okay, but we keep moving along just like the rest of the hair. And now I'm on this side, so the back is a lot easier to me, like I said. But I did cut the back because it was just awkward. It looks awkward regardless, but it was really awkward looking with the back all long, and then it was super short. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna trim that. Sometimes you just don't know what to do with your hair. Okay. That's why protective styles and braids, when you have a weird, awkward state like this, it's awesome. Because sometimes you need to just not look at it. I'm kind of like, I don't know why. Maybe because I've seen my hair in so many weird states. Like when I was getting relaxers, my hair was extremely, would get so damaged because my texture is cottony. And I don't really need a relaxer. And I was used to seeing my hair look crazy. And I love my weave, okay? But now I just look at it and move on. Okay. And now you get to look at it. Okay, so I'm just gonna lubricate them, even though these are not as bad or kinky. I always just like my oil because it be hitting mats up in there. Almost done with this, thank goodness. Feels like it never ends, alright? Yeah. Okay, let's section it off. Oh, you want to start from the bottom. I'm infamous for going for the top. I just know all the mats is at the bottom. All right, let me just work them out a little bit. Yeah, I'm getting that little mats out. For some reason, they love to live on the ends in the back of my hair. And it's awkward when you get to the back because you're like, I'm trying to get the right arm movement, and I'm just can feel the root, the bottom getting all the shedded hair. Get that shedded hair out. Yes. And grab this other section here. Oh my goodness. You know you're getting tired. It's like, goodness. Right. Mats at the bottom again, trying to rip my hair out. Let me see. Get your fingers in there. Oil is great for these little dirt mats. That's exactly what those are. Okay. Well, why it's so hard for me to focus on going from the roots to the top. I always want to go mix the top in and go back down to the root. Don't know why, but it works for me. Probably would save some hair if I just would follow that. Nothing major. Some mats and oh boy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just be seeming like sometimes it will never end. All right, let me add some oil. Doesn't seem like it will ever end, but we're almost there. And I'm just gonna put me a hat on today. Let this hair relax, and then tomorrow washing will be so easy. Just some soft little mats at the root. I want to loosen up. Gets a little kinkier in this area, and this is also the part that bends, that's growing back, but it's mixing with the longer part. Oh, look at that. It's a whole different texture, and it's growing back though. This part is still growing the normal way, but it's like a little small piece of the long part. And that's where it gets tricky sometimes when you're trying to do these two different lengths. You have some strands that want to be longer, mixing them with the short strands. That's why most people who are normal would just cut their hair off and keep it simple, but not me. I gotta take the long road. So I'm just gonna comb this little longer section. That's all. Gotta be super gentle on those ends since they are the oldest part of the hair and they will break very easily. You know what? This needs to go here with these. Just want to keep the long with the long. Yeah. I believe it's been an hour and 30 minutes. I mean, that's not that bad. So when I'm combing it, it can get worse, but goodness. Okay. Just throwing this back on a bantu now to keep it contained again as much as possible before I go under the shower. Okay. Just this little section of comb. Little awkward section. Shorter section that's growing back from the thinning. Okay. See how it's different the length is? Okay, and then I just have this one little weird section here, and I think I'm done. Put this in a twist too. You got to really start this type of stuff either really early or really late at night. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little more oil, and I am almost done and ready for this hair to just tomorrow or tonight go right in the shower and wash it. I am not going to wash it now because once I wash it now, that means I got to stick with it and moisturize it and all that. I mean, that's the easy part, but that'll just add another hour or so to your process. Okay, just combing this. Oh, there's some mats up in here. Just pulling those strands out. Let it release. The more hair strands you pull out, the more it just falls out. The mat will just slide right off. Ooh, these roots right here. Ooh, so easy to start getting impatient. You start pulling your strands out, but that's likely mostly shedded hair. Ooh, okay. This is where it gets awkward. Where does this go? I'm just gonna put it in a twist. I would probably definitely say if you can be more organized with your hair, but sometimes you just gotta jump in and get it done. And I'm just throwing these into a ball. And when I wash it, I just put my hair right under that shower and add in this shampoo and conditioner. Well, check out how much freaking hair is shedded. Now, mind you, my hair always looks like more. But look at this. Look how much hair came out. Ain't that crazy? Didn't look like that much hair was coming out. That looked crazy. Now, some people might say, that's helped. The comb helped more come out, but that is crazy. Look at that hair. Now, granted, when you have a little bit longer hair, it look crazy, but this is not unusual for me, but it just always look crazy to me when I see like, oh, this hair came out. What? Nah. So anyways, y'all, thanks for tuning in. The hair is combed and detangled. I'm going to wash it next. You guys helped me to be able to get something done that I have been procrastinating on for a long time, which is combing my hair so that I can go wash it. I don't typically wash my hair without combing it. So it's been holding up the whole process. So thanks for tuning in, and let me know if you have any questions or if you have any techniques you would like to share. And you have a great day. Bye-bye.